Okay, family. So this is episode 3 of season 2 of the family discussion group. We are going forward with Parivar Tales. And today we are taking the Raghuveer Sarandas's family, the number 1 of Gen 2, and the number 1 of Gen 3 is also here, and the number 1 of Gen 4 is also here, right? And I have no idea what they're going to say because I'm totally in the dark. I'm just longing to get surprised. So over to you, Namita. Take it over from now.
Okay. Thank you, Ranu Chacha. Thank you very much for that. By the way, you're the producer of this show. Okay. And you will know that.
Okay.
So, family, thank you so much for spending your evening with us and dedicating the next 1.5 hours to us. I want to start with a small preamble that this has been a great exercise and a lot of fun. बड़ा मजा आया, हम लोगों ने खूब बातचीत की, खूब किस्से बोले, चुटकुले आए, facts आए, arguments हुए, but बड़ा मजा आया. So what we've put together before you is actually a कहानी, उत्तर प्रदेश की एक हसीन कहानी, एक अनमोल कहानी, एक बहुत खूब लखनऊ के अंदाज की कहानी. और हम चाहते हैं कि आप तन मन और दिल से, दिमाग से ये कहानी सुने. Jayant, may I request you to please share your screen and introduce the कहानी. Okay, so प्रस्तुत है आपके सामने रघुबीर गाथा. Dun, dun, dun. Arjun, please share your screen. So once upon a time, in a very small town in Uttar Pradesh, in the home of Ram Sarandas and Gulab Devi, Babuji and Bibiji for us, was born a baby boy. He was named Raghuveer Sarandas, and he became the emperor or the patriarch of several Veer Sarandas generations that were to follow. It's exactly more than 100 years ago, the year 1905. आप imagine कीजिए. So आज हम आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करते हैं रघुबीर सरनदास की अनमोल कहानी, उनके परिवार की अनमोल कहानी. Can we have the next slide, please? आपको सबसे पहले हम परिचित करना चाहेंगे with the members of our family. आपके सामने है रघुबीर, पापा जी to us, and Dheervati Das, badi mummy to us. And Raghuveer and Dheervati had 3 children, and you will shortly see. So we call their children the primary shoots, and Raghuveer and Dheervati are our primary roots. So the first root is Yashbir Sarandas, my father, Nirmal Das, his wife, my mother. And then there was a chacha we had who died in the year 1948, but his name was Jagbir Sarandas. And then we have the second legendary primary route, which is Kirti Narayan and Amitabh Narayan. Dan, dan, dan. Let's move on. Arjun, let's move on to the next generation. Now, Yashbir Sarandas and Nirmal Das have 3 children. Chand and Suvira, looking like Raja Maharajas in front of you. Myself, Namita, and my spouse, Madhu, and my younger brother, Inu and Mandakini. And from Kirti Narayan's family, you can see her first daughter, Aprajita, dan, Bebu, the sizzling Bebu. And along with Bebu, you can see our Rohini and Givi. Givi, by the way, is more our son than our son-in-law. Okay, मैं आपको पहले ही बता दूं. Yeah. And then Chand's family, so that's branch number 1, gave rise to 2 flapping wings. One is Arjun and Barkha with Buddy. And then there is Aditi and Karthik. Again, Karthik is like our son. And little Aman, our sweetheart. And my own family is Surabhi, my daughter, and Jayant and Tarini, son, and well, our daughters-in-law are also like our daughters. So Barkha and Tarini are our daughters. And Inu's family has these superb twins, Ananya and Ishanveer. So this is our family tree. Now, you know, कहा जाता है कि हर परिवार के कुछ अनोखी बातें होती, कुछ खासियत होती है हर परिवार की. You know, these catchwords today are diversity, uniqueness, etc. But in our parivar, they are not just catchwords. Actually, our parivar is very anokha in many ways, and I will quickly share how. So, आप देख रहे हैं, Ranu Chacha already introduced this. This is a slide in which Raghubir Sarandas, the eldest of his Ram Sarandas, sorry, the eldest of his generation. His first child was Raghubir Sarandas of his generation. Raghubir Sarandas's first child was Yashbir Sarandas, the eldest of his generation. Yashbir Sarandas's first child was Chandravir Sarandas, the eldest of his generation. And Chandravir Sarandas's son Arjun Das, eldest son of his generation. आप देख रहे हैं परिवार की पेट्रियार्कल परंपरा, बट उसकी बैंड हम लोगों ने बजा दी. ठीक है, अब वो आप देखेंगे कैसे. And Arjun, can we have the second slide please? आप देख रहे हैं, ये है धीरज. आप सबकी बहुत सारी कीमती यादें होंगी धीरज से जुड़ी हुई. धीरज was a reincarnation of Kurwar in Lucknow. और जब आप ये कहानी सुनेंगे, जब हमारे सारे पात्र आपके सामने पेश होंगे और अपनी बातें बताएंगे, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कि कैसे ये एक रीइंकार्नेशन था ऑफ लाइफ एट कुरवार. So now let's roll on. And Arjun, can we have the next slide, please? Actually, yes, you can keep it at the family tree so that everybody understands. I'm now going to highlight those अनोखी बातें before you. 2 बातें तो मैंने आपको बता दी हैं, but मैंने बहुत सारी लिखी हैं. ध्यान लगा के सुनिएगा आप लोग. So, you know, Papa Ji and Badi Mummy, that is Raghubir and Dheervati, shared their birthday, 31st July, birthday common. Raghubir died on the 7th of August, and my son Jayant was born on 7th of August. 5 of the women in our parivar have PhDs, and 1 more is in preparation. Kirti, Namita, Mandakini, Surabhi, and Aditi, we are all doctors, academic doctors, and Ruhi is in preparation. We have 2 Tamilian sons-in-law, 1 Iyengar and 1 Iyer. The Iyengar was by design. The Iyer is by love and romance. We have a Generation 5 representative, the eldest of Gen 5, Aman, our sweet Aman. We are the first parivar to be directly connected to Bollywood. Aprajita Narayan. आप देखेंगे कि बॉलीवुड का ना बहुत असर है इस परिवार में, और आप समझ जाएंगे क्यों. We have a pair of twins of both genders, Ananya and Ishan. किसी परिवार में नहीं है ऐसा. We have immense entrepreneurial skills and energy. 3 of our bahus have their own enterprises. Suvira, training and teaching in insurance. Barkha, Greendigo. Tarini has a web store for jewelry, linen and fabric. 2 of our daughters too, Aprajita, she's a film script consultant. She calls herself a script doctor with Bollywood houses, no less than Dharma Productions and Yash Raj Films. And Arohini runs Writer's World. Chand is a coach, an all-time coach for startups and for entrepreneurs. So from oil to tobacco to stationery to data analytics to banking, we have it all in our family. We are very proud to share that Madhu has been the chairman of 2 public sector banks, Exim Bank and Indian Overseas Bank. 6 of our women are teachers, Nirmal Das, Kirti, Namita, Suvira, Mandakini, Surabhi. And then we have a special person in our family who is a Mutra Vigyan doctor. Mutra Vigyan mein wo specialize karte hain. And that is urology family, that is urology. And that is our son, alias son-in-law, Dr. Givi Gaurav. 4 of us have authored books, Kirti, Namita, Madhu, and Surabhi. And one very interesting fact is that my mother, Nirmal Das, my bhabhi, Suvira Das, and my niece, my great bhatiji, Ananya Das, all doing economics honors. 2 did, 1 doing at Miranda House. 3 generations of economics honors at Miranda House. Beat us, man. You can't. So now let's roll on. Arjun, can we have the first set of slides, please? अब हम आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करते हैं एक एक परिवार का इंट्रोडक्शन, हमारी प्राइमरी रूट्स. सो हाउ वी प्लान्ड इट इज कि मैं आपको, आई एम शोइंग यू अ विजुअल डिस्प्ले and then we will speak about them. So these are Raghubir and Dheervati in their heydays when they were young. Raghubir when he was young, Dheervati at her dignified best. You can see a picture, you can see Kirti Buaji kind of popping out of Badi Mummy's face. And that's them. And that's Kirti Buaji in the lap, and my father is already a young adult. And then there's Badi Mummy, Papa Ji, Kirti Buaji, and Daddy in Jabalpur in happy times. And then as we move on, you can see Chota Munna Bhai Sahab, Jagveer Chacha. He was called Chota Munna Bhai Sahab with Badi Mummy, Papa Ji, and my father. And then this is us in Bombay in a photo studio in the 1960s. So there's all of us. There's Chand all leggy and scrawny standing at the back. There's Kirti Buaji with her fuzzy daddy hair. There's Inu as a little baby. And there's me with my puffed cheeks and my fat bums. So you can see all of us sitting there. So now to talk about this family, I first call upon Chand. Chand, please talk about Raghuveer Sarandas. And after that, as soon as you finish, Kirti Buaji will talk about Dheervati.
That was really great. I will be talking about my grandfather, Raghuveer Sarandas. Raghuveer Sarandas, Bade Bhai Sahab, Bade Tauji, Bade Mama Ji, and just Papa Ji to us. He was the eldest son of Babuji and Bibi Ji and a proud member of the United Provinces Civil Service. A true patriarch in words and deeds, Papaji enjoyed the good things in life. He had a private chamber with an ante-room at home, which was out of bounds for all of us. Non-vegetarian food cooked by his personal valet Tribhuvan in his private pantry. He enjoyed pipes and cigars, art and music, and competitive tennis. A beautiful oil painting, Botticelli's Birth of Venus in the buff on one side, and the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam on the other side, served as a room divider between the living and dining rooms. As kids, we were quite awestruck. A dinner gong was sounded to alert all the residents to assemble for dinner. In winters, there was also a brass wash basin apparatus positioned next to him in the dining table with abundant hot water. Papaji and Sheila Buaji were tasked by Babuji to fix up and conduct weddings of all their siblings. There were a dozen weddings held between 1928 and 1956, an average of one every alternate year. Yashbir was born almost a year ahead of Pramila, his Bua, something that has continued even in subsequent generations. Papaji's home at Mall Road and then at Dheeraj became the watering hole post Kurwar. While constructing Dheeraj, he actually fell short of 7,000 rupees, which was a princely sum in those days, and he leaned on his Chacha Harsaran Das to lend him that money, and the Chacha, being so fond of his nephew, waived that amount in those days. When Babuji passed away, in deference to his wishes, Papaji just wrote to all his siblings, informing them about the sad occurrence, and that he, as the eldest sibling, would stand by all of them. They were, of course, upset at being denied presence, physical presence at Babuji's last rites, but eventually they respected Babuji's wishes. Papaji, Badi Mummy, and Kirti enjoyed their vacations at Bombay, Bollywood premieres, shootings, and of course, picnics with the extended family. Papaji used to go for a walk to Breach Candy and Scandal Point, and on his return, he was inevitably accompanied by a fruit wala carrying a crate of Alfonso mangoes, and all of us enjoyed those at Anand Bhavan. He was a prolific postcard writer and appointed me as his scribe once he started developing tremors in his hand, which was sadly the onset of Parkinson's disease. By the way, Papaji was also, I believe, one of the first angel investors in our family. He invested in a tannery and in a poultry farm called Arbor Acres, promoted by his cousin brother-in-law. Unfortunately, both ventures bombed, and the brother-in-law got a real dressing down from him. His grandson, that's me, hopes to do much better with his angel investments. Papaji breathed his last at Jabalpur at the age of 69, a man for all seasons. He truly lived life king size. And now I would like to pass on to Kirti Bua to talk about Badi Mummy. Over to you, Kirti Bua.
Kirti Buaji, please come on. Kirti Buaji, please come on with your presentation about Badi Mummy.
She's just coming, Namita ji. Just
Okay.
Okay,
Here-
so
Can
yeah.
you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Mummy was the eldest Bahu of the illustrious Das family. That, of course, everybody's heard. Married to Ragbir Saran Das, the eldest of the 12 children of Rai Bahadur, Ram Saran Das. Her name was Dheerwati Asthana. She became Dheerwati Das in 1928, much to the consternation of Papa's Phupaji, who boycotted the wedding as a Bhatnagar was marrying an Asthana, albeit both from the Kayas community. Babuji, my grandfather, a reformist with a strong determination, refused to budge from his decision. In 1929, Yashbir Bhaiya was born, and 2 years later, his younger brother, Jagbir Saran Das, was born. Mummy was delighted, as was Papa, though he maintained a strict demeanor and believed that children should neither be heard nor seen. I quote him. a dictum followed by all his nephews and nieces. I remember Deepak Bhaiya running away as soon as he saw Papa. An English teacher and a governess, Mrs. Wiley, was employed in the Das household to teach Mummy English and give lessons to the two sons. As they went for formal schooling, only in class 5, Mrs. Wiley was her name, and she was apparently strict but loving. Mummy became proficient in English. This I can vouch for. And Bhaiya and Chote Munna Bhai Sahab received solid grounding as their later academic achievements stand witness to their brilliance. Along with Mummy, I will also speak about Chote Munna Bhai Sahab, whom I never met. Mummy was loved by all her nanads and devars, nephews and nieces, and was the favorite bhabi, mami, taiji et al. She loved them as much as her home, and her home was open for everyone in every way to stay. Later, Babuji became the manager of Kurwar estate, and most children were born there. This was because of the love and care given by all, including BBG, my grandmother. Mummy tells me that once there was some problem and Bhaiya was hungry and BBG breastfed him, as Munni Buaji was born a year after Bhaiya, so she could breastfeed him. The younger siblings of Papa considered Mummy akin to a mother. Dr. Chachaji was Chote Nanne Babu, as he was just a few months old when Mummy got married. And I have seen the love that he had for her and she for him, because I lived with them in Lucknow. Brijbi Chachaji was Nanne Babu, and Bade Chachaji was Nanne Ji. Mahabir Chachaji was Mahabir Babu, and the 7 daughters from Sheila Buaji to Munni Buaji were addressed as Bibis. And why somebody has asked me why Deepak Bhaiya ran away, because he was quite naughty. And he was running around somewhere, and suddenly he saw Papa coming, and he just, remembered, oh, go went, gone. That was Papa's dictum. So he just ran away before he could be, hauled up for it or given a strict look. Papa and Mummy, with the 2 sons, lived in her maternal home for a while, for a couple of years, Ruby House. And Papa was admired but feared, I believe. Chote Munna Bhai Sahab was the naughtier of the 2, Bhaiya and Chote Munna Bhai Sahab, between the 2, and never hesitated in asking for things or food that he wanted to eat. Bhaiya scolded him and told him to be more sober, but he laughed away the scoldings. He was a chatterbox, very handsome, and a great singer. Brilliant in his studies, he went to Colvin College. He appeared for his intermediate exam after topping in high school, but unfortunately went down with typhoid and passed away. When the results came, he had topped again. Mummy was naturally extremely grief-stricken, and for Bhaiya, it was unbearable. Papa was somber at losing his favorite child. By some quirk of fate, I was born. I don't know what quirk of fate. I was born in 1950, 22 years younger to Yashbir Bhaiya. I believe BBG pressed Mummy to have another baby, but passed away just a year before my conception. There is a belief that Papa and Mummy revealed to me several times that BBG appeared in a dream to Papa the night I was born and told him that she was reincarnating as their daughter and they should name her Kirti. Call us up. Please be reverent from now on, because I am BBG. Understood, everyone? Lucknow became another Kurwar where so many marriages of boys and girls of the family were settled. Bade Bhai Sahab and Bade Bhabhi were consulted by everyone when alliances had to be made. Mummy was fortunate to see her grandchildren grow. She witnessed the marriages of Chand and Namita and was extremely proud of their achievements. She also saw Bebu and Ruhi grow and loved them a lot. Surabhi was born while she was alive, but she never saw her as she passed away peacefully in February 1983. In the end, I would like to say that I'm proud of my mother, even-minded, cool, and large-hearted to the core. She respected elders and gave unconditional love to the youngsters. She kept Maharaj for vegetarian cooking, but honored Papa's wish for non-vegetarian food. Tribhuvan cooked it on the gas chulha, a new innovation then, in the back veranda. She had an everlasting camaraderie with Sheila Buaji, and both used to go to Sadhana Dham in Haridwar for months every year. I can go on and on and on, but limitation of time has to be kept in mind. So I stop here. But one last thing about Chote Munna Bhai Sahab. I believe he was a brilliant singer, and he was forever singing while he jumped around in Ruby House. So here is my small token.
Lovely. Lovely, Kirti
Mummy
Buaji.
and-
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you so much. And now from our primary roots, let's move on to our primary shoots. And here is family number 1, the primary shoot of Yashbir Saran Das and Nirmal Das. These are photographs of their wedding. And I believe all of you who were born at that time or were of any age all attended that wedding. It was a grand wedding. And you can see my mother, Nargis, Nutan, what have you. And as we move on, you can actually see this was the matrimonial photograph on the right, which was sent. And she looks so beautiful. She was only 18 years old. This is a picture on the left of my mother and father at their engagement with both sets of parents, my Nana Nani and my Dada Dadi, Papaji and Badi Mummy. And as we move on, these are their years of primehood, I would say, the middle years, the great years when you sort of have maximum presence, and you can see in their countenance that satisfaction of a life lived well. And as we move on, you can see that the first picture is of them sitting in Ahmedabad. Madhu had a beautiful house in Ahmedabad, a colonial house. So they're enjoying their dialogue. And then this is in Chennai, in Suvira and Chand's house. And this third picture is at some party celebration, I think their anniversary, when they're exchanging a piece of cake each. Much, much older. And this was at Jayant's wedding. Many of you attended Jayant's wedding. How happy Daddy looks and how happy Kirti Buaji and Chand also look. This is a picture of that day. And these are the last few years of my father. This was at his 90th birthday, where many of you came, where he's sitting, and Arjun and Chand are standing. This is him sitting in my home with his stick. He used to walk regularly till he breathed his last. And this is with his granddaughter he was very fond of. That is my own daughter, Surabhi, at his favorite restaurant in Delhi, Clubhouse of India or something it's called. Great, at the Sangam Mall. And now, you know, I had requested Inu and Mandakini. They were supposed to do the presentation about my parents. But unfortunately, Inu's chairman is in town and in Inu's office. So Inu is unable to join us, but he's written out a script. So I will read out Inu's script and then Mandakini will come in and talk about my mother. And that's how we'll move on. So what I'm reading before you is a script prepared by Inu. Imagine that I am Inu. Our parents knew everybody in the family, from the youngest to the oldest. Daddy was a very social person, and this was reflected in all relatives being welcomed at Anand Bhavan, Haji Ali, Pandara Park, and then Lucknow post-retirement. I'm just digressing for 1 minute here. So Ranu Chacha came with his guitar and his hippie hair. Benu came at the age of 12 and declared that she's going to contest for Miss India. Bishu Chacha came and explored his first few infatuations and crushes with Madhu Sudha and Tanas Dinas, who were the children and, you know, the sort of adolescents of our neighborhood. Okay. And Prakash Chachi ji used to come because she was writing her novels and get lots of inspiration staring at the sea in Bombay. So that was what our household was. And Chand and I eternally slept in the drawing room on the carpet. That was our bedroom. So I move on. So my father, that is Yashvir Sarandas, had a very agile mind and was a friend, philosopher, and guide to all of us. He encouraged us to take our own decisions, and he would share his ideas too. In his long career innings in the government of India, he worked closely with international stalwarts like Vikram Sarabhai, Homi Setna, and Homi Bhabha in the departments of atomic energy and space. As Secretary Culture, which was his last substantive position before he retired, he was closely involved in the Festival of India programs. He liked to keep himself abreast about everyone in his family and used to make it a point to call us all up regularly, including the extended family. He loved his 6 grandchildren and used to call his 3 granddaughters fairies as little girls, which he kept recounting. Chand and I were with him when he breathed his last, and he kept talking about his fairies because he got transported back to their childhoods. I want to just add that, Kirti Buaji has already shared that he was homeschooled till class 5, and then he joined St. Andrew's School in Gorakhpur, from where he finished his schooling, and then he joined Allahabad University for his bachelor's and master's, specialized in history, and prepared for the civil service exams. And before he made it to the audits and accounts service, in which he had a successful career, he taught in Allahabad University for 1 year. And he taught at a measly sum of 300 rupees, but had immense satisfaction. So that was Yashvir Sarandas. I now request Mandakini to talk about my mother, Nirmal Das. Mandakini, over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Nirmal Das, my mother-in-law, but of course known to everyone in various other relations. Mother, grandmother, mother-in-law, grandmother-in-law, bhabhi ji, mami ji. She has played many roles and has had a relation with everybody in different capacities with everyone. She was extremely noble, kind-hearted, and a gentle soul. She bound the family together with a very positive and balanced outlook. I don't think any one of us has ever seen her lose her composure, her calm, and in today's generation, cool quotient, right? I have never seen her lose her cool. Whatever she had to say was in a very balanced and a very reasonable, understanding manner. She always expressed joy when I called her up or visited her, and she was always full of love and affection for everyone, be it her family members, be it her people at her school, at whatever level. I remember walking through Hazratganj with her and people stopping on the streets, wishing her, giving her so much respect. And it was a great feeling to be, recognized and wished and respected by people, even though I did not know them, but they knew her. But she knew all the children in her school. This much I know. She used to tell me that. And at my engagement, I'm going to go a little bit more of a, extempo. She was a homemaker, definitely, but she was also an educationist. She did her Montessori training in London. I'm sure many of you know that she did this training in London. She told me, she shared with me that the Montessori training classes were in the evening in London, and she would wait for daddy to come home, and baby Chand would be ready to be given over to daddy ji when he came back from office. Dinner would be ready, and then she would hand over the charge of her household to him, and she would go for her Montessori teacher training. This stood her in good stead, and she taught in various places, starting with Magic Years in Delhi, Birla School in Mumbai, and then, of course, over 20 years of service in Study Hall in Lucknow. She continued even after her retirement, and she was associated with children with special needs right till the age of 75. She had extreme empathy and social concern for all, but I need to share one or two very different incidents about her, which she shared with me. One was, of course, how she learned driving. She learned driving in Bombay when Indraveer was a baby. And how did she learn it? She used to take Indraveer, place him in the back seat of the Fiat, and drive drive the car and or get trained on the car, much to the horror of the instructor, who would kept saying ki madam baby piche gir jayega, roll over ho jayega, and she would say nothing is going to happen. That was her cool confidence, her determination, and she drove right till the ripe old age, as far as I remember, the Premier Padmini in Lucknow, almost till 65 years of age. She also was quite artistic, creative, house proud, and was a rich culinary skills of Desi and Videshi foods. I remember eating her tasty firnis, and I hope many of you, who were there, I will end with this very, very nice memory of her at my engagement in Lucknow in August 96, when she gave a very graceful performance to a very popular song of Sadhna. I don't know if any of you remembers which was her song. Anybody?
झुमका गेला रे बरेली के बाजार में, झुमका
It was a
गेला
very
रे.
beautiful and graceful performance by her, and I will always remember her as a very gentle, loving person who maintained the balance in the family. She's fondly remembered and will always be loved. Thank you. Over to you, Namita.
Thank you, Mandakini. That was really beautiful. It captured Mummy in totality, and we can't agree more. And now let's move on to the second primary shoot, which is Kirti Narayan and family. And let's look at the visual treat. So here is Kirti, all of 5 or 6 years old, cutie pie with, she always made a Sai Baba hairstyle. And there's Buddy Mummy standing next to her. And here in the next photo, she's transformed into a young bride with her dashing husband, the groom, Amitabh Narayan, and my mother taking her, my mother looking very pretty, as you can see, taking her probably for whatever, to change clothes or for some ceremony or the other. And as we move on, you can see the Bollywoodization of this family. You can see Kirti standing there. She had a secret romance with Raj Kapoor and with Rajesh Khanna and with Devanand. Then you can see Rahul and Nandita, Manjul Bua, Vishu Chacha. You can see all of them standing there. They're constantly watching shootings. Prakash Chachi ji, Usha Bua ji. They're all watching shootings all the time, So this is where the Bollywoodization began, okay, in our parivar. And as we move on, वाह वाह अनारकली सलीम को कह रही हैं, but सलीम नहीं है भाई, this is the Nawab of Awadh, our own Parul Pupa ji. Look at this, क्या खूब लगते हैं ये लोग, क्या बात है. And look at these glamorous daughters, Bebu, but actually she's Aprajita Narayan, and Ruhi, but actually she's Arohini Narayan, all suited and booted and dressed for the occasion. And now look, watch, look at them. This is Parul Pupaji in his heydays, flanked by both his glamorous daughters, and that's Kirti Buaji flanked by her daughters. And this is our own Dr. Giri, our Mutra Vigyan expert, with Ruhi, freshly after they got married, or maybe during their courtship. And this is when we recently went to Lucknow in the month of March, actually. This very year we had gone there in the month of March. So all of us congregated, and you can see Parul Pupaji at the center of our universe there. Happy days spent together. And there's yet one more. This is when my mother was also alive and my father was alive. So all of us together have congregated for a celebration. And now I request Bebu, Ruhi and Gibi to introduce their parents and themselves. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Namita ji. What a beautiful introduction. You brought tears to my eyes because I'm going to talk about my lovely parents, and I'll start with Papa. So as many of you may know that Papa is not with us in person. So, but I will start with saying that Amitabh Krishna Narayan, aka Parul, was the handsome, debonair, quintessential Nawab of Awadh. Tall in his rutba and taller in his upright spine. He was born and brought up in a Haveli that was built 250 years ago. It was so huge that a thief got lost there. All his ancestors during the revolt of 1857 escaped through an underground tunnel in the Haveli, which supposedly opened into Agra. Though he was a successful banker, the Nawab, my father, never economized when it came to himself. His sharp brain was matched by his flamboyant style, where he could meticulously pair his 35th shoe with his 29th suit and never go wrong. However, this passion had one too many flip sides. We were 3 women and 1 man in our house, but his pieces of luggage far outnumbered ours. One night, his younger brother went missing. Next morning, the search party was leaving to look for him when Papa threw a spanner in the works by saying, "Chalte hain bhai, par koi mere kapde to iron kar do." Paying no heed, he was dragged along. When Chacha saw him, he said, "Dada, you must really love me for you to have come out with in unironed clothes." That was my father. He had a heart of gold and would go to any extent for anybody who he loved. To Vishu Mama, they were like Tom and Jerry. To Suvira Bhabi, they were not uncle and niece, they were best friends. They were cricket buddies. To Madhu Jijaji, Papa was like a time machine. They never spoke straight, always teasing each other like 2 truant school benchmates. A man for all seasons, Papa's eye for detail and ear for music is something I still can't wrap my head around. I would hum a rag and Papa would take no time to guess it. And this, when neither was he trained in music, nor could he sing to save his life. Mummy and Sachin Tendulkar were the 2 loves of my father's life. When he met Sachin at a dinner in Bombay, he shyly confessed that his daughters say, "Papa, you love Sachin more than you love us." Papa didn't bat an eyelid in telling Sachin, "Sachin, I never lie to my daughters and I never disagree with them. So I actually do love you more than them probably." As for Mummy and Papa's love story, and Usha Mukherjee played a crucial role. Cut to 1972, Lucknow University. Kirti Das incessantly teased her classmate Parul about his mystery girlfriend, one Usha Mukherjee. Parul blushed, hemmed and hawed, wrote some exquisite poetry in Urdu, but nothing made a dent on Kirti. And then one day the phone rang in Dheeraj and Parul said to Kirti, "I want you to meet my Usha Mukherjee." Kirti guessed a plethora of names. And before Parul's confidence was completely dimmed, he said, "Dumbo, it's you." "Are you crazy?" said Kirti and ended the call. 49 years later, Bebu and I are the proof of their love story. And ye to sab ab samajh hi gaye honge na that Usha Mukherjee was a fictional character. It was always Kirti, my mother. Mummy, her dad's aankhon ka tara, didn't shiver and shudder in front of her father, my Nana, like the rest of the Parivar did. The one unfortunate time when this Bada Saab scolded baby Kirti in 1956 at the flattest restaurant in Nainital for ordering a banquet with Ranu and Vishu, who were tinier than baby Kirti also, without a penny in their pockets, Kirti responded, "Papa, डांटना है तो डांट लो, पर थूकते क्यों हो?" That baby Kirti, Kit Kat to so many of you, is today Dr. Kirti Narayan, ex-principal of Jai Hind College, Mumbai, a historian of note, author of 7 academic books, and recipient of countless awards. If a week goes by and her photo does not pop up in the newspaper, we in the Narayan family start wondering if everything is okay with Mummy. And people would find it hard to believe that this illustrious journey started with a 300 rupee a month job at the Halim Muslim Public School in Kanpur in 1974. Equally accomplished inside and outside her home, Mummy would be knitting a double-breasted pullover for her 6'1" husband and would seamlessly swing into writing the 6th chapter of a PhD thesis at the same time. Bebu and I wore exquisitely embroidered frocks tailored by Mummy, whose needlework and delectable cooking skills could happily be trumped by her passion for the history around the revolt of 1857. From leading a group of British historians across central India on a mutiny tour to unraveling the role of women in the revolt of 1857, I am convinced Mummy's best friends are Tantia Tope, Nana Sahib, and Jhansi Ki Rani. She actually has conversations with them. Mummy saw the movie Jungli 17 times in the theater, and her bhaiya and bhabhi took her to endless number of film shootings in Bombay. A very proper Yashbir Mama didn't know where to look when, on the shoot of Jewel Thief, Mummy precociously asked Devanand, Dev, why have you taken Vaijayanti Mala? Vahida ko rakhte? I think she was banned from entering a film set ever since then. And Bebu and I are convinced that her primary motivation to become principal of Jai Hind College was that it's a hub for any Bollywood personality of repute to come to. Mummy has been a meditator since she was 7. She's the spiritual core of our home, sings like a nightingale, is our best friend, and has shown us what it means to give the right value to her career and to every relationship in her life. Coming to Bebu, my sister, she switched her career from doing her PhD in political science at McGill University, Canada, to becoming a Bollywood scriptwriter. And I, Ruhi, to all of you, have published business cases at top business schools across the globe and currently work as the head of strategy at a hospital. My husband, Dr. Givi Gaurav, is a poet who also happens to be a urologist. He is a trained robotic surgeon and is a kidney transplant specialist. In his own words, Givi describes himself as personality to meri Amrish Puri jaisi hai, par lagta main Tikkutal Sanya jaisa hu. So Givi, as you can figure out, is not at all like a boring doctor. But I don't let him have the last laugh always. I told him that the Dasas ring a dinner gong and are not allowed at the table without suit, boot and tie. Poor fellow thought we live in Buckingham Palace and refused to meet any of the Khandan walas until one day he met Chandada and Sugira Babi and Namita ji, who showed him that the Dasas are normal and don't grow horns on their heads. This in a nutshell is who the Narayans are, and we are so happy that we've been able to add excitement, everything to this family. Namita ji, back to you. Thank you so much.
Lovely, Ruhi, that was just so beautiful. You captured it so beautifully. And so, yeah. So now let's move on. And now let's get to the branches. We are going to give you a kaleidoscopic view of our branches. So, yes. So this is branch number 1, Chandas and family. And you can see the Raja and the Rani. Wah, kya baat hai. And you can see the little ones, baby Arjun and baby Aditi, Chuiti pies next to them. Those were good days in Tiruvattur. And now look at them as big ones. Arjun with his wife Barkha and Aditi at her wedding, and Kartik sitting there looking so beautiful, so aesthetic, so esoteric, lovely. And then as we move on, you will see that this is at Aditi's wedding again with my parents, just after the wedding, sitting and relaxing. And this was at Jayant's wedding when my father was very proud of Barkha and Aditi and Arjun. So they've all posed for a photograph. This was at the day of Jayant's wedding. And then this, the picture on the left, which shows the whole family, is on the proud day when Aditi became Dr. Aditi. And then, of course, you know, in their shorts and skirts and their rubber chappals and keds on the beaches of Goa, the family having fun. So, and of course, this you mustn't miss, all of you. This is our very sweet Aman with his parents, Aditi and Kartik. Look at the expression of Aman, sweetie pie. And now I request Aditi to introduce us to her family. Aditi, over to you.
Hi, thanks so much, Bua. Great to see everyone. Namaste, all the dadis and babajis and pupajis and buas on this call. I'm very excited to be here today. So my name is Aditi, as Bua mentioned. I live in San Francisco with my husband Kartik, who's right here next to me, and our little baby Aman, who hopefully is still asleep. And I moved to the US about a decade ago to pursue my PhD. As Bua just mentioned, you saw my graduation picture, and I currently work as a public policy researcher and consultant in the Bay Area. I met Karthik at the University of Chicago, which is where we studied. And I swore that I would never mingle with these banker, engineer, MBA types. And then lo and behold, Karthik is an engineer from IIT Chennai. He did his MBA at Chicago Booth and is currently a technology investment banker at Goldman Sachs. So you know how that turned out. And then he's also from Chennai. And speaking of Chennai, Chennai is really home to me. Whenever anyone asks what's home, that's the first place that comes in mind. I'm still having a hard time that my parents, Chand and Suvira, are in Delhi. I don't think I can make peace with the fact that that's their official residential address. Nonetheless, my mom, Suvira, she had a long, illustrious career in the public insurance sector. She worked with New India Assurance. And then she turned her passion for insurance into teaching, which she does till date at several MBA institutions. My dad has had, again, a long, illustrious career as a marketeer with ITC Limited. And he also was instrumental in developing the stationery brand called Classmates, which I know I was really lucky because I had a constant supply of notebooks and stationery throughout my childhood. He now currently wears multiple hats. As Bua mentioned, he's an angel investor, he's a CEO coach, he's a mentor. Let's just say giving advice has just become his way of life and mantra. My brother Arjun and we grew up in Chennai, as I mentioned, and we're thick as thieves, and we're about 2 years apart. He currently resides in Mumbai with his wife Barkha and their adorable little puppy called Buddy, who is, I believe, just about a couple of months old. Arjun and Barkha were classmates together in St. Stephen's College, and they did mathematics. And then right after, they went on to get their MBA degrees. My brother is a commercial banker with HSBC, and I really think he's going to stick there for life. He's been there for almost over a decade. Barkha is from Jaipur. Some of you might remember attending their wedding back in Jaipur. She's a former banker and is our proud family entrepreneur as she runs a organic cotton clothing children's company called Greendigo with her sister Meghna in Mumbai. Barkha, more than anything, is a dear friend and a mentor, and someone I've always looked up to and gossiped about so many things about the family. And then outside of that, I just wanted to give you some fun facts and fun nuggets about my family. I think Ruibua captured this really well. My mom and my brother, as well as Parul Babaji, had their mental love for the game of cricket. My mom, if she isn't poring over a novel or trying to grow her plants in her terrace garden with her green thumb, is glued to the TV set watching cricket. And I remember she, Parul Babaji, and my brother would just constantly be on calls talking about every game's progress. My brother, talking about cricket, I just remember my childhood where my brother would be poring over and filling notebooks of this game called book cricket, which I don't know how many folks were privy to. And then also he was notorious in our Chennai days where he would go from home to home and pull out everyone from their homes and say, "Come on, Da, it's cricket time. We got to play in the evening." And I remember we had this lush green lawn, which basically got converted to a cricket ground, which was like the center of attraction at our apartment complex that we grew up in Chennai. And then sticking to the sports theme, I don't know how many of you are aware, but Barkha is a national level sharpshooter and is a state level swimmer. So you know you can't really mess with her. That's her claim to fame outside of being our family's proud entrepreneur. And then also talking about Arjun Barkha, I was the only one who was privy to their relationship or romance. And it's hilarious. There's this one incident where Arjun and Barkha were at the famous Priya complex. And then they spotted Namita Bua at a distance, and they fled in the opposite direction. My brother was like, "Oh shit, it's Namita Bua. I got to get out of here." So clearly it was hilarious, the lengths that they took trying to hide their romance from the family when clearly everybody knew about it. And then talking about my dad, similarly as Mandakini Chachi very beautifully recounted, he has this very cool, calm, gentle nature like my Dadi. And I actually remember Dadi narrating an incident to me where she said that, Namita Bua used to have these little fits of anger where she would start banging her head against the ground, and my dad would so gently go and place a little pillow under her head just to make sure his baby sister was all right. So that's my dad. Outside of that, he also has a really surreal avaz. And let's just say that avaz becomes even more surreal when he has a few more pegs down his down his stomach. Mom and dad, they've just always been fabulous hosts. They're very chill, very generous parents, and they have really set amazing parental goals for me and Karthik. And then, as I said, Karthik and I we met through a common friend. Basically, this friend feigned to barely know Karthik and then invited him to gate crash at dinner. Let's just say I was set up. It's a fact. My friends and family can't make enough fun of me of how I went all the way to Chicago to only find a local Chennai boy. Even though Karthik's parents live in Chennai, he actually grew up in the north of India and speaks Bhojpuri and also really good Hindi, better Hindi than mine. And then that's pretty much it. And of course, there's also the newest member of our household, Aman. And then now it's over to my mom or Nani, as Aman would call her, to say a few words. Thanks so much.
Hello, namaste, everybody. These are some pictures of Aman for you. And of course, you can see Buddy in the middle. So Aman is our 20-month-old grandson, and he's an absolute delight. His full name is Aman Das Karthik. So, continuing on the generations, what Namita had taken you through, he's the eldest in the Gen 5. I think there are two more after him. One is Pinky's grandson. I think he's called Arjun, and I think the other one is somebody in America. So Aman was born in January 2020 and in San Francisco. He lives in San Francisco. And he was lucky that, he did get seen by his great grandfather. Of course, it was over Zoom. And Daddy used to be delighted. He was thrilled with the fact that, he could see the new baby. And he used to tell me over and over again, कि बिल्कुल छोटा चांद लगता है. लेकिन सुवीरा ये सुब्रमण्यम्स को मत बताना. Subramaniams are our samdhis. बुरा मान जाएंगे. So that was, I'm so happy that Daddy did manage to catch Aman on internet. So that's a long time ago. He's now a big fellow. He's tall. He's running around. He's talking. He's walking. And talking about talking, my God, he's going to be multilingual because he is speaking Hindi. He's speaking English. He's speaking Tamil, and he's speaking Spanish. So he doesn't drink water, and he doesn't drink pani, and he doesn't even drink tanni. For those of you who understand Tamil, he drinks agua, if you please. So, I couldn't figure out what agua was, but now I know that agua is Spanish for water. So he has a lot of favorites, and his absolute hands-down favorite is his atte. Atte is bua in Tamil. So this is Karthik's younger sister, Jayashree, who he absolutely adores. And, atte is his favorite. His tati, that is his dadi, which a lot of you who are familiar with Tamil, it's party, but he says tata, tati, nana, nani, so it's tati. That's second favorite, possibly. There's a good friend of Karthik and Aman's who he calls Chachu, and he keeps telling me about Chachu, and with an American accent, of course. And he has a very favorite Anna too. So as I said, all these are Tamil words. So I'm so happy that he's getting to learn all this. And of course, I must include myself in the list of favorites. Nani. Of course, his his mama says that bilkul nani ka chamcha hai, but I don't mind. I'm delighted with that. So he's his newest friend. Aman's newest friend is Buddy, who you can see in the middle, and he's thrilled with this little fellow. Buddy is Arjun and Barkha's little 6-week puppy, who's a real cutie, and he's a Jack Russell Terrier. I believe Anubhav also has one, so maybe these cousins consulted, I don't know. So anyhow, what does Aman like to do? Aman loves reading, and Aman loves jigsaw puzzles, and he reads so much that his father actually calls him a Magbu. You know, अब वो वहीं रहता है ना San Francisco में, maybe he's on his way to becoming one of those big shot, big wig, what are they called? Tech guys in the Bay Area. We don't know. So he's also quite obsessed with cars and trucks and trains, etc., etc. And you know, this doesn't appeal to his mother at all, because his mother Aditi is so much like her bua. You know, she would prefer it if Aman played with his kitchen set or with dolls, because there has to be gender equity, etc., etc. But our man loves his trucks. He wants this truck and that truck. And his absolute favorite truck is the garbage truck. His best friend is the garbage man, you know, because in America, these are intriguing things. So he's quite the Californian. He speaks with a Californian accent. He loves Californian things. He loves the Californian weather. He likes the berries and the oranges and the various cheeses and the avocados, but he's equally good with his dosa. He doesn't like idli too much, and he likes his palak paneer and whatnot. But his hands down favorite is Tair Sadam, curd rice. So you can see he's a true blue tam Bram Iyer, you know. So we hope that we can introduce Aman to you, to all of you, in person whenever COVID clears, whenever people are allowed to travel. And thank you everybody for allowing this Nani to give so much indulgence. Thank you very much. Back to you, Namita.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. It sort of captured the mood and the, you know, shades of Aman so beautifully. So now let's move on to the second branch, which is my own family. Look at this very embarrassing matrimonial photograph. I was all of 21. And, you know, we used to go to a studio and pose, and then they would do all kinds of touching up. And then that is me chilling and having great fun when we were on a holiday. And that is how I look now. And all of you know me, most of you interact with me. And as we move on, you'll see pictures of my parents' visit in Ahmedabad. My father and my mother and Madhu and me sitting on a swing in true Gujarati style. We had a ball. It was a lovely town and a lovely home. And that's Madhu with Tarini at their Sangeet. And many of you attended the wedding. And the rest of them are photographs where we are all chilling out, either at a holiday or somewhere at home. And then as we roll on and move on, you will see us as a foursome in Ahmedabad, because, you know, we were always living in different cities. Madhu was posted somewhere, I was somewhere, Surabhi was somewhere, Jayant was somewhere. So this was a congregation point in Ahmedabad. And the photograph on the right is after Jayant and Tarini's wedding. We had an informal reception in Delhi University for my colleagues at my workplace. So this is a picture of that day. And this is Namita Ranganathan and family at Jayant's wedding. This is our entire Raghuveer Sarandas Parivar, all of us together, captured, I think, by Mandakini. And now I request Surabhi and Jayant to quickly talk about their parents and themselves.
Thank you, and namaste everyone. Good evening. Hope you're all doing well. I'm going to quickly take a couple of moments to introduce my parents and Surabhi, and I'll begin with my mom. Namita was born 16 December 1960 in Lucknow. She is known as Baby, a name I recollect that her mother gave her. I'm not sure if that is right or not. She studied in many schools, so different postings Nana held, and graduated from St. Joseph's Convent in Jabalpur. From what I recall, She has only attended convent education until she went on to do her master's. As some of you might already know very well, she is best known for her extreme sense of duty, which she showcased dutifully on Sports Day as head girl of St. Joseph's. She was the torchbearer for the opening ceremony, and from what I believe, there was a spillage, as a result of which she burnt her hand, marks which you can still see on her hand, just a week prior to her board exams. But she did not put down the flame until the ceremony was over. Crazily enough, she also topped her exams, and I believe, and Surbhi and I, both believe that there is no data that suggests that she's ever come second in all of her academic life. She attended Mount Carmel in Bangalore for college and then pursued her master's in Bombay University. She got married to my father on 19th of January 1982 and continued to pursue her excellence in academia at JNU, where she did her MPhil and PhD. Between this period, Surbhi was born, and later in the 80s, I believe it was 88, if I'm not wrong, she joined DU as a lecturer in CIE and didn't stop at her PhD and also got herself to a postdoctoral. The list of achievements is a massive one, but from the notable feats, I recall her having co-authored and authored 6 or 7 books, 20 odd studies for the United Nations, and many more articles and papers that she has published through her career over the last 3 decades. And I'm sure there are going to be many more to come. On the slightly extracurricular side, my mom is a trained Bharatanatyam dancer, which you can see sometimes, through her emotions that you can see in her eyes. A state level badminton player, and I believe she also learned how to swim in the Narmada. I'm not very sure how. I've not fact checked this, but she tells me she swam in the Narmada. From what I know, mom also had a diploma from Alliance Francaise, but I've also heard a counter story from my dad that all the French she had learned didn't come in very handy when they went to Paris in 1999. She is famous for conducting webinars every alternate day. I mean, I recently said that I conducted a webinar which 120 people attended, and she said that, oh, that's nothing. I attend, about 10,000 people attend my webinars. And I was like, wow. And she's most definitely a chip of the old block. And has inherited this amazing ability from her dad of being able to talk and engage people from any or all age groups. On the fun side, from what I recall and through our projects in school, is she has a fascination for art, craft, and knitting. She loves driving long distances, thanks to CIE and Munirka being 35 kilometers apart. Definitely has road rage issues. I've lived through many of those tales, and Rui Mosi has many more colorful ones that she can share later. She is now rediscovering her love for gardening and cooking at CIE, super fond of animals, and has sort of adopted 3 strays, Lalu, Snowy, and Whitey, since Surbhi and I don't spend much time at home. She's an absolute caffeine addict and infamously got Surbhi and I hooked to coffee at a young age of 3 or 4, which we now realize is a bit odd, for kids at that age. And that has resulted in us being nocturnal animals and, resisting milk in its purest form. In conclusion, I think her only lacking skill is her voice modulation while singing, which she has also passed on to Surbhi and myself. It's a running joke in our family that she also is a little more South Indian than Papa. I don't know how many of you agree. To wrap up, she's infamous for using oxymorons at convenience, of which I'll just share 2 examples. One, she loves watching all kinds of trashy films under the sun, like literally all of them, with a constant need to justify that she will use this as teaching material later. And the second one is that she loves chocolate, ice cream, yogurt, cold coffee, but will always claim to be lactose intolerant. So that's a little bit about my mom. And next I will introduce my dad, or TCA Ranganathan, and some of you might know that stands for Tirumalai Kunnavakam Anandan Pillai Ranganathan, a name that has led to many complexities in urban living, with all sorts of weird spellings being used on every single ID that he has, and thanks to him, I have now. One of them lately, we moved back to Munirka and we received a bill that says Priyanathan. My dad was born on 19th November 1953. He's known as Madhu, Ranga, and TCA, nicknames that you've heard before, but also as Kausmi, something which he was called at Stephens in reference to his cow-like smile. One of the earliest memories I have from our Dadi is her telling us that she had to send my dad to boarding school, which was Scindia's in Gwalior. Truth be told, I can't imagine him having a discipline problem, but I believe that was the reason why he was sent for a year or 2. something that he's obviously passed on to me. He later graduated from Sardar Patel in New Delhi and went on to pursue economics at Stephens and then a master's at Delhi School of Economics. He also, in his professional life, picked up executive programs at Wharton and IIM Lucknow. Some of the other recollections Surbhi and I have from our Dadi is that Papa and his two brothers had ringside seats to the 65 war when they were posted in Jammu. They used to be endlessly curious about the situation and used to enjoy collecting shells the morning after. A super fun fact that some of you may not know is that Papa had 3 tiger cubs as a kid, which he then later gifted to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. I believe there is a photograph of this somewhere, but you couldn't find it for this meeting. He has had pets all his life, barring the period Surbhi and I were at home. We believe that Surbhi was also named after his former pet, TCS Subbu. We've all been privy to his professional accomplishments as a banker of 4 decades and chairing 2 banks. In his second innings, he actually spends his time as a board member at some corporates, consultant to the UNDP. He's an arbitrator for the NSC and also writes a regular column in the Deccan Herald, which some of you might have read. Just before the pandemic, he also wrote a book with his cousin called All the Wrong Turns: Perspectives on the Indian Economy. And he's well known for ending all his statements with a question mark. He enjoys reading books of all genres, but I think he has a fondness for science fiction and fantasy. Loves playing golf and binges on Sudoku. Don't even ask us how much. Huge fan of classical music, much like many others in the family. Loves attending recitals and has a massive collection of CDs, none that we can play anymore. Has traveled to 5 continents and seen most parts of India, I believe, barring a few of the 7 sisters. While he was in China, he also picked up a little bit of Mandarin, which is quite cool, and became fairly proficient at eating with chopsticks, as opposed to him being a traditional South Indian and eating with his hands. Loves walking and is obsessed with pedometers and apps that can measure his steps and distance. In conclusion, just to wrap his intro, a couple of fun stories come to mind. He is super absent-minded. I'm sure some of you might have noticed. He once called us from Shanghai saying that he had lost his cell phone, which was a first for him. This is when cell phones were new. This sort of went on to become a monthly affair for the next 4 months. So he actually lost 5 cell phones in 5 months, and they were all the same model and same make. After which we suggested to him that he gets something different just to break the curse. He also, Surbhi shared an interesting story with me that he once drove a taxi all the way down from Mussoorie to Roorkee late in the night because their driver had one drink too many at their conference, and apparently the brakes had started to fail or had failed. He dropped all of his officers home first and then once again showed how he likes to take care of everyone else around him before himself. Coming to Surbhi, Surbhi was born 23rd of December 1982. She was the first grandchild on both maternal and paternal sides. Surbhi attended school at Gyan Bharati in Delhi, and as did Tarani and I, and went on to study law at Law School, Bangalore. She graduated with gold medals and went on to pursue her master's in law at NYU, following a couple of years of academic assignments there, post which she went on to completing a PhD from Cambridge in the UK, on a topic I find very hard to understand, but let's just call it international relations to keep it simple. She immediately joined Warwick for a couple of years as a lecturer and later came back to Cambridge, where she currently works and teaches. Surbhi is famous for consuming books faster than tequila shots, with a cup of coffee always by her side. As a kid, I believe she memorized books when she was reading them and once narrated 8 pages of a book. I think it was Naughtiest Child again, word by word to mummy, including all punctuation marks. As a young child, Surbhi was always in privileged company, meeting with bureaucrats and attending policymaking session in both of her grandfather's laps, kind of the stepping stone to her building a career as an academic. Surbhi has lived, we last counted, she has lived in 11 cities across the world and has featured on Al Jazeera and written for New York Times, and she also has a book to her credit. Some fun facts that I want to shed some light on. Surbhi loves giving competitive exams. I don't know why, but she just loves them. She deliberately did badly in her first year in law school so that she could come back to Delhi and study at Stephens or LSR. She was outscored by her friend Angad Bedi in English, which was quite an embarrassment for her, something she had never imagined. She loves the Pakistan cricket team and is obsessed with Wasim Akram and Pete Sampras. She has had coffee meetings with Amartya Sen, has John Cain's chair in her drawing room, and has met the Queen and her husband. Once at the Gemini Circus in New Delhi, an elephant took a bit of a piss on her, and that was quite an embarrassing moment for her. And my earliest memories with Surbhi are those of missing the school bus thanks to her every day. and dad having to drop us to school. And yeah, that's about it on Surabhi.
Wonderful. Thank you for that bit of gratuitous ragging, Jayant. I'll now present my brother and my sister-in-law, Tarini. But namaste, everybody. It's really nice to see the whole family because I live in Cambridge and I'm not very much in India anymore. I rarely get to meet everyone, so it's very, very nice to connect virtually. So my brother mentioned that my father really loves numbers. He has a pedometer. He talks about numbers all the time, but my brother also loves numbers. So let me introduce you to him in numbers. Before Jayant was 30, he was managing director of Meltwater India, a media intelligence company with clients across government and business houses. Before he was 25, he had organized an all India conclave featuring top business leaders and culturati and youth representatives from over 60 countries. Before he was 20, he had raised crores for his college fest Malhar at St. Xavier's, Bombay. Before he was 10, he had printed out visiting cards for himself. As you can guess, Jayant is something of a marketing and sponsorship savant, but he is also a cricket freak. So before he was 15, he had played against Virat Kohli and was regularly in the newspapers for his cricketing prowess. Before he was 5, he was already settling into the pattern that would provide the soundtrack of our childhoods, which was the thud, thud, thud of bowling all day and then commentary all night. It used to be a strange obsession of Jayant's to read cricket score sheets, sometimes from the newspapers, sometimes from the Hindu yearbook, which Suvira Mami would buy for him every year. And so when Jayant was not bowling at every door in the house, he would be sitting and poring over score sheets and exclaiming at the various statistics he found there. And then at night, he would sleep talk for hours, recounting the match, the entire match that he had read in the day, in the accents of Jeff Boycott and Tony Greig. This would go on sometimes for like 3 or 4 hours a night while he was fast asleep. In 2018, Jayant married Tarini, whom we've known since she was 5 years old and was Jayant's classmate in Gyan Bharati, where all 3 of us have studied. Tarini is Jayant's opposite in many ways. Jayant spent all his time on sports fields in school. Tarini was the class monitor and the teacher's pet. Jayant read scoreboards. Tarini is an avid reader of history, crime, and medicine. Jayant was perennially covered in mud and in grime. Tarini is a germaphobe who likes things very particular, she tells me. But they were fast friends, and when Jayant missed school over sports or illness, she used to collect notes for him and made sure that he stayed on track with work. They are both shopaholics and travel junkies. And Tarini is also a fashion designer with a degree from Delhi and a diploma from London. Do check out her label and website, tarinidevrajmaniktala.com, which stocks household goods, clothes, and jewelry. See, Jayant, I know how to do commercials for the family as well. And with that, over to you, Mummy.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And let's move on now to our third branch, which is Indraveer Das and family. And you can see this beautiful picture of Inu and Mandakini looking lovely at somebody's wedding reception. Probably this is Oberoi Maidens, or I don't know where it is, but it may be at Moina's wedding. I don't know, but they're looking lovely. And then there's the 4 of them looking even more lovely because they are flanked by the beautiful twins, Ishan and Ananya, all dressed glamorously in their Sunday best. And as we move on, you can see the twins in their, younger days sitting with their Dadi and Babaji in Lucknow, having a good time. And then there is Mummy sitting very proudly with both the babies, Ishan and Ananya. And you can guess which one is who. That I leave for you to guess. And here is Ananya, the fairy, the little fairy, now a smart young woman, standing with her Babaji, and the Babaji extremely proud of her. And as we move on, this is, when they went on this great holiday to Agra, etc. And, COVID notwithstanding, so they sort of justified by saying, humne mask pehna tha. And this is the visual evidence. And then as we move on, these are at family celebrations. You can see all the cousins in the first one, and you can see more cousins in the second one. I think the second occasion was Suvira's birthday, and the first occasion was, I don't remember where, but some big event. And as we move on, here is a collage of the twins' birthdays, which we always collectively celebrate by a ceremonial lunch, which Inu and Mandakini host. So here you can see we went to Daryaganj and then we went to other places as well. And I now invite Ishanveer and Ananya to talk about their family.
Thank you, Bua, for that great introduction. Good evening, everybody, and I'm Ishanveer, and I'll be introducing my family. So let's start. Starting with my father, Indraveer Sarandas, popularly addressed as Eno by most of you. Being from Bombay, he has completed his bachelor's degree in commerce from Sydenham College of Commerce. He has done his MBA from IMT Ghaziabad. He is a chief manager at Indian Oil and has been posted in various cities throughout his tenure. One fun fact about him is that he is a huge Bollywood fan, and his knowledge for classic Bollywood songs, movies, and actors is quite vast. My dad also used to be a huge cricket fan and has an autograph book from his college days, mainly consisting of West Indies cricketers. Introducing my mother, Dr. Mandakini Das, who is an associate professor in the Department of Commerce, Gagi College, Delhi of University of Delhi. She did a BCom honors from Indraprasth College for Women. She holds a master's degree, MPhil, and a PhD in finance from Delhi School of Economics. My mother has always kept family first in any situation. Any decisions that she takes is always in consideration of how it would affect the rest of us. She is always open to new ideas and keeps up with the latest trends, be it her research work, her music films, or TV shows. My parents are completing 25 years of marriage this year, a great achievement, which I think. My twin sister Ananya is currently pursuing her BA honors in economics from Miranda House, Delhi University. Ananya and I have been brought up in Delhi and graduated from the Mothers International School in 2019. She is someone who I can approach with any stupid or genuine problem. She will always have practical and sound advice to give me. When she's not studying, working, or most importantly, annoying me, she likes reading books and watching YouTube videos from her favorite content creators. Finally, coming to me. I'm pursuing my Bachelor's of Technology in Information Technology from Delhi Technological University, erstwhile known as Delhi College of Engineering. My interests in the field of computer science lie in automation and machine learning. Finally, as a family, we enjoy traveling and exploring new cuisines. We are big movie buffs and are looking forward to the new James Bond movie. Over to you, Bua. Thank you. Okay, 1 minute.
Boy, you have to unmute yourself.
Mama, you unmute.
Yeah, sorry, my system was getting hot. Anyway, so thank you very much, Ishan, for that. That was really nice and it captured everything so beautifully. And Parivar, please give us 15 minutes more of your time because, we have something more for you, something very special. We are very Bollywood stricken. So you have to wait and watch. So, आप थोड़ी मजेदार कहानियां भी सुने, ठीक है? And I hand this over to Bebu to conduct this session with the flapping wings and the cacophony of the flapping wings. Bebu, over to you.
Thanks, Namita ji. So all of Yashveer Mama's and Mummy's grandkids and kids-in-law formed a WhatsApp group last year called the Younger Ones. And defying any concept of time and age, they added Ruhi, Givi and me on it. I'm 47 and not young by any standard. But ab musibat bulai hai, so they will have to face the music. Especially when they've conveniently called the 12 of us on this group, the Cacophony group. We present to you a rapid fire round about our musings from under the table. Each one of us being part of the Das clan at some point has heard about how the Dases liked their kids to be seen, not heard at the dinner table. Well, ab ye nahi chalega. In revolt, the 12 of us got up from the table, snuck under it. We were neither seen nor heard. But what the elders of this parivar didn't notice is that we were hearing them, seeing them, observing them, and now is payback time. So here we come with a 2.0 version of the famous RSD Parivar, full of administrators, academics, CEOs. Basically, our second name could be Brain Ki Dukaan. And yet, when a certain Mr. Amitabh Bachchan visited Mama's house in Delhi, what happened? I'll tell you. So Veera Bhabhi, who was tying baby Aditi's diaper, heard Mr. Bachchan's deep, sexy voice and ran out to say hi, the diaper still hanging in her hand. Mama didn't know where to look. And this was just the tip of the iceberg. Jayant, why don't you tell us what happened that day?
Thanks, Vibhuji. Although I wasn't there, but I've heard from many people in the family. This was around 1986 when Aakhri Rasta was due to release. Nana at the time was also de facto head of the censor board, I suppose. And Amitabh Bachchan wanted some sort of approvals for this movie. He warned the family that nobody should come out and embarrass him by trying to meet Amitabh Bachchan. But I believe our family, being weak-kneed by his presence, all tried to make their presence felt in various shapes and forms. I have some examples. I believe Inu Mama made a Nimbu Pani, which I don't know how good it was. I've heard stories that say the opposite. And it ended with Surabhi as a 3-year-old rushing out and saying bye-bye Amitabh Bachchan and embarrassing Nana quite a bit on that day.
Okay. From Pandara Park in Delhi, our kahani moves to Lucknow. Ananya and Ishan are in-house Ram or Shyam, ek ke saath ek free adorable twins. I hear one day you sneaked in some Chinese food from under your Babaji's nose. What was that? Why don't you share your Lucknow diaries with all of us?
I'm going to go first with this one. Hi, first of all, I'm Ananya, just to put a name to the face to the name. And we used to go to Lucknow almost every year. And I think most of us know Aryan as the famous place over there. So we ended up ordering Chinese at home once because we were wanting a change of cuisine. And it turns out Dadi was a really, really big fan of Chinese food. But obviously, owing to her health, she was a bit reluctant about it. So instead, we stuck her a little Chinese food on the dinner table itself, and she enjoyed it thoroughly. It was super spicy. She needed water, but she kept taking more. And it was great fun. And we did repeat that and order Chinese. And going on the path of talking about noodles, we also indulged in eating Maggie with her. And even though Babaji was not sure he should go for it, again, because of his age and health, he ultimately did partake in that. And that's a really cute, funny memory that we do have from Lucknow visits.
Great. But I must tell you that Yashveer Mama's run-ins with lookalikes didn't end with Ananya and Ishan. It extended all the way to Cuba and the Castro brothers. Surbhi will now tell us about her very unique conspiracy theory on her Nana.
Thank you, Baby Gigi. So, of course, as you know, Nana was a consummate professional, very dedicated, civil servant to the government of India. But Jayant and I have a conspiracy theory about him. And our conspiracy theory, and family, if you have additional evidence, please do tell us because we would love to know. We believe Nana was a spy. And I'll tell you why we think so. Our image of Nana is always this man who's, very precise, sort of very neatly dressed always with his briefcase going everywhere. But once in a while you start talking to him and he'll suddenly tell you randomly, oh, once I went to Paris to negotiate a secret sort of a purchase of nuclear fuel, just randomly. Another time he told me, oh, once actually I went to Cuba and nobody was supposed to know, but I just went and I met Fidel Castro, and then Raul Castro took me to a nightclub and I really enjoyed watching the Can-Can. So we were like, so Jayant and I were like, how is this possible? Like, why? We started then counting the facts. How is it that he worked always in things like the sort of atomic energy or space? Why was he, who was supposed to be working in audits and accounts, sent off to Cuba? Usually we know spies get positions like cultural attaches and so on. So why did he become the Secretary of Culture? What was in this briefcase that Jayant, as has just mentioned in the chat box, we were never allowed to touch. We wondered if there were secret compartments that if you press certain buttons, the briefcase would become actually a gun or similar. But also we used to know, I mean, my nanny, for most of you, if you know her, she used to have this wonderful dressing table in Lucknow, which was full of exciting things, including she had false hips, things that she would use to extend her bun and make it bigger, lots of makeup. And we used to wonder, she used to not actually, she was very well turned out, but she was always quite simply made up. So we wondered if, this makeup is being used for someone else. Is my grandfather dressing up in different ways and showing up in different places? I mean, what is going on? Is this a big cover story? So we are still piecing the facts together. One day I hope I'll go into the archives and find out more, but I would love to know if people have other details as well. Back to you, Gigi.
Surbi, I think Givi has something to say about that, because he, I think, inherited your conspiracy theory. He was completely enamored by Mama's Cuba and Paris, and he'll say more about it.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm finally audible.
Yes, you are.
So I'm the Mutra Visheshagya that Namita ji has been referring to for so long. And thankfully, I don't look like a kidney, as you can all see. But, and Surabhi, I have been on this trail from the moment I joined your family. The day I met Mama, I was told by my wife that my Mama is there, and he was the cultural secretary to Government of India. And he went on to meet Fidel Castro in Cuba. Just do a little bit of research. 1980s is the time that he went on to meet Fidel Castro. And that is the year when Cuba was put on a state-sponsored terrorism list by the US. I really don't know how that works. And I was one person who actually asked him, so did you work as a spy? And he, not for a moment did he tell me, no, I never worked as a spy. He was like, no, spies are not like me. Spies are chosen from somewhere else. Never a straight answer. And then he went on to tell me the number of bosses that he had. I can actually count them: Homi Bhabha, Vikram Sarabhai, and APJ Abdul Kalam. And they are all, I mean, if you include Fidel Castro in it, they are all so much, culturally rich. They all know Kuchipudi and Bharatnatyam. I mean, that is probably what their cultural contribution is. But just to add to your evidence base, when I was in Jamshedpur prior to this, and I told him that I have a relative who was in Uranium Corporation of India Limited, and Mama goes, who? And like, one of my Mossajis used to work in Uranium Corporation of India Limited. He's like, at what post? I said, I really don't know, but why are you interested? No, I was in the governing board of UCIL. And like, yeah, Uranium Corporation of India Limited, again, very well known for the cultural things that it brings to the table. The culturally refined uranium that we get. And then the one occasion when I actually visited him in Lucknow, and he called me there was a party going on, and he called me into his room, and he opens his drawer, dheere se, there's just me and Mama, and he fishes into some compartment somewhere. I was like, ho kya raha hai? Is he actually going to, as you said, switch some button and suddenly something is going to open? And what opened was a bottle of whiskey. And he's like, I have kept it stolen to keep it safe from Madhu. Otherwise, it would have been polished off. But that was one way. It was totally camouflaged. Usme ek wrapper tha, uske piche kuch aur tha. So I was like, acha, this is good. I mean, he must have learnt it on one of his travels of being a cultural attaché. And as my Bhabhi is pretty privy to that particular occasion when he was trying to interrogate me with code words. And, after a few abbreviations, he's like, are you a TT? And I asked Bhabhi, who's a TT and what is a TT? She's like, teetotaler. There's not a single surgeon I know who's a teetotaler. So those were, I mean, I don't think there's any evidence which is left. It is just that his sweet demeanor and the simply wonderful and fabulous person that he was. which kind of belied that fact that he was a spy. But I totally believe that he was. And Robert Ludlum, Zindabad. Back to you, sir.
Okay, so Mama's meticulous and triangulating style of questioning traveled all the way down to Tamil Nadu. Kashmir or Kanyakumari, when it came to the Das Kanyas, Mama didn't shy away from any degree of interrogation. Our newest son-in-law, Karthik, being his latest victim. Karthik will now tell us what he thought about this entity called the Dases.
Of course, I'm delighted to namaste everyone. You know, firstly, I'm so...
Oh,
can you
hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay. So first of all, you know, Karthik here. So we're so delighted. I'm so delighted.
Can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Go on. Yeah.
I think it's something with their audio, I think.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, so we're delighted we woke up at 5 a.m. because this has been so much fun. So it's so great to see everyone. I think the first memories of this family for me was the introduction that I had to this large and warm and boisterous family during our wedding back in 2015. And it was really heartwarming to see how much love you know, the family members had for each other and for Bollywood. You know, Vishu Babaji, I don't know if you're still on, but when you joined in the beginning and you were with the mask driving in the car, I didn't need to see your face. I could hear your voice and I knew who it was because I can never forget the voice that rang the halls of Grand Chola on 15th November. And, you know, so it was one of the most memorable days of my life. And so I'm so proud generally of what, when I look at what this family and its members have accomplished in their respective professional lives. And before this, never had I been in a setting where I had seen, oh, there Vishu Baba is, there you go. Never before, you know, have I seen such a group of accomplished people in such diverse fields as part of a family setting. I mean, it's incredible. And I think, you know, it's not just the on paper aspect of it. It's about picking a field that you love and excelling in it. And I do think the world just needs more of the Das mindset like that. And, you know, one of the most, one of the warmest invitations that I've received in my life was from Babaji and Dadi to come to Lucknow, which, you know, to the home in Lucknow, which we unfortunately couldn't make because of how far we're all living in. But that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most in 2022 as life reopens post-COVID. Yes, Lucknow it is. And, you know, I'm eager and excited to see the place that serves as the route for, you know, for this whole family. But of course, also excited to try out the much famed sweets and kebabs. And, you know, mom knows and everyone knows I have a terrible sweet tooth, you know, in this family. And even though I grew up a vegetarian Tambram boy, I'm now a converted meat lover, thanks to people. So I'm looking forward to it, but excited to see you all.
Great, Karthik. We are waiting for you in Lucknow. And the slogan of Lucknow Shahar is Muskuraiye aap Lucknow mein hai. So we'll be waiting with all the smiles. But when Arjun took his grandparents to see a Bollywood film, I don't think they were smiling very much. So Arjun, why don't you tell us what happened?
Sure. Hi everybody. Good evening and good morning to all of you, wherever you are. So keep it short and quick here. So this movie called Kaate had released in 2002, right? With all the cuss words and all the galis and all that stuff. So obviously, and we happened to be in Lucknow on one of our typical summer holiday vacations, as we normally always do, right? So I was, for some weird reason, insistent to actually watch the movie. Don't ask me why. But, and of course, it wasn't planned, right? So obviously with my Babaji and Dadi, Babaji, of course, likes things very, very well planned, decided in advance. You can't do things at the spur of the moment. Thoda plan karke karna chahiye. So I was still insistent and very fussy that nahi dekhna hai, you know, I've heard so many reviews about this movie, we have to watch it. Babaji said, "Bhaiya, main to nahi ja raha hu." Then there was no one to actually take us. Then Dadi said, "Okay, beta, chalo, let's go." So then Dadi, myself, mom, Aditi, I think Surbhi Jain also were there. So the six of us went in Dadi's Fiat. Now, I think the Fiat, of course, was on its last leg. So I think Dadi still drove it because she said, "Nahi beta, mujhe apni grandson ki khwahish puri karni hai. Bhale kaate ho ya kuch aur ho, but khwahish puri karni hai." So bas chale.
And the way she obviously encountered traffic across cattle and across Ganj and God knows where all, and found parking with utmost difficulty in all those dingy single cinema halls in Lucknow. Obviously pre-Mayawati days, before all the Saaf Suthra happened in Lucknow. I think that itself, plus of course the usual popcorn and the Coke show, etc. I think just she just redefined the whole sense of being so cool. I think Dadi Babaji, they don't cease to amaze me. They've always been very cool in their own respect. A lot has been said about them already. But I think from that moment onwards, the coolness quotient for me, for my Dadi, just increased manifold. And Babaji, of course, quizzes on the way back, ki, "Acha beta, movie kaisi rahi?" I said, "Babaji, theek thaak thi, but jo incident raha to and fro, that was probably more exciting for me, because I think Dadi stepped in and just paid heed to what my fuss was about." So I think that's from my side. Yes, thank you.
Great, Arjun, great. But the movie Kaante sounds like Sampurn Ramayan.
Absolutely, yes. It's a rendition. It's a rendition of Reservoir Dogs by Tarantino. In case you haven't watched it, but yes,
yeah. And it really compares to one of our holy movies when you think of the movie Ruhi Took Mama To. So there was a time when I took Mama and Mummy and Mami to a movie to celebrate some job that I'd got or something, and I insisted on paying for the ticket. Mama's favorite response to me was always, "Na piddi ka shorwa aur aap chaliye ticket kharidne mere liye, main kharidunga." So I was like, "Nahi Mama, first you watch the movie, then you decide who's going to pay." I didn't reveal the name of the movie till we actually reached the theater. So here we were, Mama on one side, me in the middle, Mami, and then Mummy. And here the movie opens, the dirty picture. So as soon as Madam Vidya Balan starts, "Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, tu hai meri fantasy, chuna na, chuna na, chuna na, chuna na, ab main jawan ho gayi." Mama turns over to me and says, "Ruhi, why is she showing so much of her legs?" I turn over to Mama, obviously petrified कि Mama मुझसे ऐसे questions पूछ रहे हैं. "Mama, legs nahi, just look a little above. She's showing a lot more than just her legs." Mama, in his typical style of endearment to me, "Will you ever stop being foolish?" So here's my little story for my dear Mama and my dear Mami, because Mama always called me foolish, and I will always miss him for calling me foolish. Lucknow will never be complete without Mama and Mami. But Karthik, when you come to Lucknow, we'll try to make up for their absence. So come. Great. And Aditi, I'm looking at you smiling and laughing, and it really feels as if a mini Mami is sitting there. Your face looks so much like Mami. And why don't you tell us what happened when you went to LSR, and what were some of the stories that you heard about Mami?
Sure, Bebhua. So this was basically week 1 in LSR. I noticed like lots of my fellow peers looking at me, and then a few came up and said, "Hey, do you know Nirmal Das?" I said, "Yes, she's my grandmom." And then basically what happened was I learned that, these were all Dadi's former students at study hall, and they just had such wonderful, wonderful things to say about her. And in that moment, I was filled with pride because, besides Dadi being one of my most favorite people, I just realized what a magnanimous person she was and touched so many lives. Outside of that, being her very gentle and calm self, she was also pretty fearless. And I recall during our childhood, this is when Bua, Poop, Surbi, and Jayant had come and visited us. We went out to the Bay of Bengal, and Dadi was riding a catamaran out in the Bay of Bengal and was just so cool. And I was like, man, she's really an inspiration to look up to. And taking a feather out of her cap, I think her fearlessness made me hatch this plan to come and visit Jayant at his wedding and show up unannounced because nobody knew I was coming. And I don't know if folks know, but Babaji was very much in on this secret. So it was great fun hatching that plan.
Wow, I didn't know that Mama knew about that. And we are running short of time, but coming to a close, how can we end without not talking about the famous Das family maxim, "Bahuein bahut pyari, betiyan theek thak." Well, our in-house bahus today are Barkha and Tarini, and they will both tell us about their unique experiences about their dating and their English speaking skills and mama and mami around that. So here's to Barkha.
Hello, everyone. I think, one incident that I fondly remember, I mean, now it sounds very silly and comical, is when Arjun and I were headed to Fab India in Basant Kunj, and Namita Bua and Dadi pulled over right next to us. This is when we were dating. And Arjun, of course, spotted them and freaked out. And he tells me, quickly hide, just duck under your seat because we can't be seen. And I just asked him, I said, why not? He said, you don't know my bua. She's going to pull my leg for the rest of my life. So we can't be seen, and just do what I say. And as I was awkwardly ducked, that day I saw, Dadi and Bua get out of the car and walk to Fab India. And I was just awestruck with how elegant and graceful Dadi looked. And it was a missed opportunity that day to have met her. Of course, later when I came to, get to know her, I realized what a gentle person she was. And Namita Bua, of course, is a darling. And I absolutely love the fact how she favors me over Arjun now. And that really makes Arjun very annoyed, but I love that.
And last but not the least is our Tarini.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. And because we're running short on time, I'd like to talk about two things. One is my dating experience with Jayant, and one would be about Nana, because I was never able to meet Nani, and I still regret it to this day. But I think continuing on with what Barkha was saying, these Das boys like to hide their girlfriends from the family. And for the longest time, I had this notion that Jayant's parents and grandparents and whoever in the family were very conservative and traditional. And I don't know, maybe like he couldn't tell them about me, even though they'd known me since I was 6 years old. So yeah. And when it came time to officially meet them on one Diwali, I don't wear Indian wear. I basically just rushed around to find a kurta, and I couldn't find anything to go with it. So I put on these leggings and a bindi, and I just rushed to Jayant's house. And I think within 2 minutes of meeting his parents, my in-laws, who are more like my parents now, I was like, yes, this boy has been lying to me for the last 10 years. Because I mean, I never, it took me maybe 5 minutes to settle into the family, and it never felt like I was not part of it. I think and Bebu Gigi and Ruhi Masi, I think I'm the only one who's allowed to call you Boo Boo and Ruru. So I'm just going to bring that up there. And then when I finally met Nana, I mean, I think we became friends like that. I think he could get along with any age group at all. I mean, there was never a problem. And it was just some of these moments I've had with him were hilarious and so poignant. And I still remember once he asked me, Tarini, what do you like to, do you have a sweet tooth? And I said, yes, Nana, I can live on desserts. And he asked me what I like. And I started naming mousse and ice cream and things like that. And he said, but what about Indian sweets? And I said, Nana, I don't really like Indian sweets. And Nana said, that's a little snobbish. And I was like, yeah, I mean, he would say these really cute, funny things, and I used to have the best conversations with him. He had so many questions about my brand and about my work, and like he understood so much, and I still miss him so much. But this family has always felt like my own. And just whole the dating episodes and everything, I had the best time telling Suvira Mami about everything, and every single time we meet, she ends up pulling Jayant's leg, which I love absolutely. So I think this family is more mine now than Jayant's, because they always take my side.
Wow, fantastic. So now in the RSD Parivar, the dinner gong has been replaced by the cacophony of us who snuck out from under the table to sit at the table. And yet, as old traditions make way for new beginnings, may our elders keep smiling upon us that we may carry on their legacy with dignity and aplomb and do justice to being called the descendants of Raghuveer Sarandas and Dheervati Das. Back to you, Namita.
Thank you, Bebu, thank you. And now over to all of you. Watch the grand finale.
मैं डालू ताल पे भंगड़ा तू भी गिद्दा पाले चले रंग जमा दे हमके बने सभी मत वाले
मन कहे कि मैं ले आऊं चांद और तारे सारे इन हाथों पर मैं चांद रखूं इस मांग में भर दूं तारे
हेलो हेलो तू फ्लोर पे जब है आई येलो येलो बड़ी सॉलिड मस्ती छाई
हेलो हेलो तू मच है घूमने लगाई येलो येलो कंट्रोल करो मेरे भाई
Wow.
So that's the end. We of course stretched it a bit, but thank you very much, Parivar. We enjoyed this immensely and hope you did as well. Over to you, Ranu Chacha.
Wow, that was spectacular. All of you, I mean, the bar just keeps on rising. And I don't know who's going to top this after this. Absolutely fantastic, really. Absolutely wonderful. Enjoyed every moment of it.
Wonderful.
Much.
Wonderful. Oh, you're back. Bye-bye.
I don't remember how many of you, 12 or 13 spoke. Well done. Well led, Namita. Great.
Thank you. It's thanks to everybody, and really we enjoyed putting this together.
Amazing.
Doesn't matter the production, but the process was terrific.
Fantastic. What a production. What a family.
Good, Namita and everybody.
Namita, it was great seeing the picture of Dheeraj again. The house, which
Love
was
the stories. Love the pictures.
Thank you, everybody.
And love you all. What a family and what an association we've had. God bless you. How do you know I didn't become Miss India?
Benu, she actually came in a mini skirt and she said, I want to be Miss India. And Vishu Chacha's first few girlfriends. He still asks me about them.
But I must tell you, I really enjoyed that photograph of Dheeraj. I saw my second home after a long, long time. And I have such happy memories of Dheeraj, of enacting a concert in the veranda. Created a stage of sorts. I took Tauji's cigarette lighter and acted like Devanand and Kirti like Sadhana.
But you know, I came back from Hadraganj and showed my panties to the three Taujis who were sitting there in the veranda. They asked me what is in the bag. So I took out my panties. I said, this is what is in my bag. All the three Taujis were horrified that I could do such a thing.
Well done. And you know, I have probably the closest relationship with this clan of Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3 of this clan. There are many, many stories, but for another day.
But Ranu Mama, we thought we had the closest association with all the generations of the family. The problem is we all have so much to say about them.
Seriously.
We do. So this is.
Or Mera Naam Joker.
Anyway, this is fantastic. Really brought back so many memories.
Wonderful.
Maza aa gaya.
Very nice.
Thank you so much, Namita. Brilliant.
No, it was everybody's pooled effort. And I must say our Gen 4 is excellent at technology.
Yes.
And our Bollywood champ
Quite
is Bebu. She
Quite
inspires us, and then it was all put together basically.
I'm just worried that you use two songs which might prevent this recording from being loaded on YouTube.
No, just load it. Yeah, we'll face the consequences.
That is not a
Ranu Chacha, I think, yeah, just do it.
Or you could edit the first and the first start and the finish.
The start and finish.
I'll share the videos for everyone's consumption later, and we can edit out the starting and the end.
Yeah.
Well, that is a problem, and then I'll come back to you on that, okay?
Bye, good night. Good night.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Good night. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful presentation.
Thank you.